Hi students, to start today you're going to open your Google Slides for photo edits. Remember last time we were working on slide 5? We're going to have two sets of pictures on slide 5. On the left we have the beginning and after of the wasp, and this is where we use the magic wand tool. Then we need to have a beginning and an after project showing the lasso tool. And what I ask you to do is take a picture of someone that I will recognize, someone that you know and that I know, and you cut out the face of that picture and then put it on a Halloween costume, a picture of a costume that you take from Google. I'm actually going to demonstrate that entire process in just a second. So those of you that still need to work on your lasso tool project, continue watching this video clear through the end, and I'll take you through the entire process of using the lasso tool. Everybody right now in class needs to add a slide 6. Slide 6 title is Pixlr - Working with Layers. So the tutorial is located inside of Canvas. When you go to Canvas, find the module for our print media standard 5, and then when you open Pixlr, you've got a tutorial list link right here. We did number 1 as our slide 5, and now tutorial number 2 will be your slide 6. So I open the tutorial list. Here's the tutorial on working with layers. Grab some headphones. Watch the tutorial so you understand the concepts, and then I'll explain the project that you need to create for slide 6. For slide 6 on your project, I want you to take another photo, something I will recognize of people that I know, people that you know, and I call this the teleport assignment. You're going to take that picture and cut out the main image. Like if it were a family picture, you'd cut out the family so that it was off of the background. And you're going to paste that into another image of a different location and different environment. Here's some examples. You could take a picture of yourself that you have saved with your livestock animal from the fair. And you could cut out that animal and you from the picture and place it on another photo of, let's say, the high school. So it looked as if you were standing there with your steer on the sidewalk of the high school. Or maybe you pasted on a picture of the beach, a sandy beach. It looks like you're taking a photo with your steer on the beach. Or maybe in front of Disneyland. So that's why I call it the teleport assignment. It's as if you're taking yourself out of that picture and going to another location. I will be looking for multiple layers on your project. You need to have a text layer on your project. And please name your layers. And we'll go over naming layers in that tutorial. You simply just double click. If you happen to finish slide 6 during class, then you add slide 7. And this title for slide 7 is going to be this third and final tutorial for Pixlr. So you'll call it Pixlr - tutorial of your choice, and tell me which one you choose to complete out of these lists right here. And you've got lots to choose from by choosing the more arrow. So if you are finished with slide 5, you're welcome to begin your work on slide 6. If you need more information about how to do the lasso tool project, continue watching this video. So for the lasso project, you need to have a picture of a Halloween costume. Let's start with that. I want to point out that when you are doing an image search, you need to pay attention to the size of your image in pixels. So I have clicked on this Pooh Bear image, and I look right here and see the pixels is 1750 by 2500. I either want to remember that number or write down that number. Please continue looking for an image that has large pixel numbers. This one here, 160 by 200. That won't work. It's way too small. If possible, try to find a picture that has the pixels over 1,000. If not, maybe 800. But for sure, over 800. So I'm going to use this first one here that's 1750 by 2500. To right click on a Mac, Hold down Control on your keyboard, click the image, and choose Save Image As. I'm going to save this on the desktop as Pooh Bear. Take note of the format. It's saving it as a JPEG. So I'm going to push Save, making sure that it saves on my desktop. The other picture that you need to have ready is the picture of the person that you're going to be cutting out. So it can be someone from class. It can be a photo that you brought in on your device. Either way. I have saved a picture on my desktop of my little boy. And I saved it with his first name. It says Emmett. And it's a JPEG. So you want to make sure you have those two pictures saved. And then you're ready to go into Pixlr.com. Remember, when you're in Pixlr.com, you click these double arrows at the bottom and launch the site for Pixlr Editor. Launch the web app. We have our images saved on our computer, so you're going to open the image from the computer, and I want you to start with the picture of the person. So I'm going to choose Emmett, and once I get him open, I want you to double check the image size, and it shows it in pixels right here. This can be adjusted. To adjust it, you use the image menu. I want to have this be something similar to the pixel size of my Halloween costume image. And I remember that it started with 1750. Whoops, 1750. Yeah, it's going to make my height a little bit different, and that's okay. And I'll eventually change the size of the picture itself later. But to start out, I want the image size of both pictures to be very similar. Okay, this navigator panel I found very helpful the last couple days. First step, your background is locked. So double click your background to unlock it. Second step, you're going to zoom in using this slider, and then you can move this red rectangle exactly where you want to zoom in at. For our lasso tool, it's the picture of the rope right here. I want you to use the poly lasso, the polygon. And you must use a feather so that your edge isn't hard. Feather at anything between 10 and 20. Well, let's say 5 and 15. Anywhere between 5 and 15. And then as you use the poly lasso, you click once, you slowly move your mouse just a little bit, and then click again. So this is a slow process. It doesn't need to be super speedy. But you drag your mouse a little and then click. Make sure you're zoomed in enough that you can see really good the edges of where you're clicking. Take your time on this. Don't be in a hurry. If you are not happy with your selection, you'll just come back in and finish. If you ever have the lasso tool and you want to start over, remember that you have to come to your starting point and double click. If you're not happy with your selection, you need to deselect and start over. There's two ways to deselect. From the edit menu, you deselect here, or it shows you the shortcut, but it's actually not correct. It's actually Command D. Command D will deselect. Okay, I'm going to undo that because I want my selection back. All right, so I have my selection. I'm going to copy this selection. I've copied it. Now I'm going to use the File menu, and I'm going to open Image from my desktop, the Pooh Bear image. Before I even start, see, this is really deceiving because it came in as 188. So Emmett's head is going to be humongous. I should have opened up my Pooh Bear image first so that I could see what it opened as in Pixlr. In fact, I am going to take the time to go back. No, we'll be fine. Let me just continue on with this process. I'm going to leave Emmett's window open right there. I'm going to take my Pooh Bear image and try to match it. Image size 1750. It's probably going to be really pixelated. Let's zoom out. Oh, not too bad. So again, I wanted to make this match by using the image size. Okay, first step in your layers, unlock the layer. And I want you to get in the habit of naming your layers. So I'm going to double click and say Pooh Bear for this layer. And then click and it will accept its name. Now, with the Pooh Bear image active, I have copied Emmett's face and I'm going to paste Emmett's face. Notice how Emmett's face comes on as its own layer. I'm going to double click layer 1 and name it Emmett. Now, I want to edit Emmett's face. I want to change the size. So I am going to use the edit menu, making sure that Emmett's layer is selected. Edit, free transform. And the shortcut for this indeed is Control-T. I'm going to hold down Shift if I want to maintain proportion. And I'm going to get it about where it needs to be. But as you know, oh, I pressed enter to accept the free transform. As you can see, his chin isn't quite right. Oops, I meant to hit Command-T, Control-T. I want his chin to be up there a little bit. And then we have way too much forehead. So there's a couple things I could do here. I could take the eraser, zoom way in, and try to erase some of Emmett's forehead, making sure that I'm on the layer called Emmett. I could do that. The problem is that becomes tricky because I don't know where the costume is going to end. So that's one technique I could do. Another technique is this. I'm done with Emmett's face. I'm going to close that without saving. I could simply take Emmett's layer and drag it down so it's underneath the Pooh Bear layer. Then select the Pooh Bear layer and start erasing this guy. And I'd want to zoom way in. I could even select this guy with the lasso and then delete. I am going to do that. I'm going to use a poly lasso. And I'm going to make sure that I stay on the yellow edges of Pooh Bear costume. I don't want any of the baby in my selection. Do this. Again, I don't want any of the baby selection in there. Making sure. Okay, now when I press delete, making sure I'm on the Pooh Bear layer, I should be able to see Emmett's face. It's going to work. Now I'm going to click on Emmett's face, use my move tool, and move him exactly where he needs to be. Not too shabby. Remember, your layers stack on top of one another, so if I moved Emmett's face down below, then he's below the Pooh Bear layer. I think Emmett's face needs to be a little bit wider because I can see some transparency in there. Like that. And there we go. Hopefully that helps you with your Lasso tool project.